Hello, rock stars. Welcome to the November edition of the All-Star Sales Call. I'm Keith McKinney. This is
Aaron Wagner. What's happening?
what's going on. I have a little bit more of a tan than he does because we are back from Cancun. What an awesome sales rally, man.
Dude.
For those of you that are not part of New Home Star that are watching, we had our annual sales rally, sales conference in Cancun, where we had a huge conglomerate of New Home Star with us there, and man, what a great few days of learning.
We had an awesome award ceremony.
Safari.
It was safari.
Safari.
Dancing.
Yeah.
Awards. We had classes. Probably the most classes we've ever had at any event. Ever.
Yeah, you know, I heard more about the classes this year on the content and just so many people taking away so many great and powerful things. They just went back so inspired, and just a lot, especially when we went into T times C equals S. Yeah. Like so many people, we cover that in sales training and in our videos, but they were able to get so much more context out of it.
Yeah, it's different when you're like going through it and you're really kind of understanding plans and understanding how conversion works and understanding all the different buckets and pieces. Helps a lot.
Yeah, no, and everybody, all the great speakers, I'm not even going to try and remember, just shout out to all of you, where and every single bucket, so where you knew everything that to understand about traffic and your conversion and how it equals more sales.
Yeah, because we think through that stuff all the time.
Right.
But when you just like go through your normal life, it's easy to get on autopilot. It's easy to not stay sharp. So sharpening up the saw on those things make a huge deal.
Well, speaking of sales, we have some sales rock stars to announce for the month of October. So to start it off, top sales agents in the month of October for net sales, coming in at number 4 is Tiffany Nywert from Hayden Homes in Oregon. Good job, Tiffany, with 7 net sales.
All right.
And then right behind that, also from Hayden Homes, Jacob Franke with another 7 net sales. Good job.
Where's that name for?
I know, goodness gracious. And coming in at number 2, Brian Ackery. I think you know something a little bit.
Brian knows how to sell some houses.
A little something about Brian. So good job, Brian. 8 net sales. 8 net sales. And then coming in at the top, kind of a tie for the number 1 spot, Ariana White, also from the Melbourne area, at 8 net sales, all in 1 month in October. Congratulations. All right. So in the sales volume, these names are going to sound familiar.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Coming in at number 4, Jacob Franke with 2.1 million, coming in at number 4. Number 3, Ariana White, coming in at also 2.1 million. Brian Ackery with 2.2 million. And number 1 in sales volume is Tiffany Nywert with $2.6 million in 1 month.
Yeah, that's like $9 million between them.
Yeah, dude, I know builders that do $2.6 million as a whole in a month. She did it by herself.
That's silly.
That's silly. Congratulations to all of you. Good job. Good job. So, you know, as we get ready to continue and we're coming off of Cancun, everybody's hyped up, everybody's motivated. What was one of your highlights from that whole thing?
So for me, the highlight is not only were we looking at like T times C and stuff that like really helped us today, but there was a lot of sessions that helped us look forward. So some of those were how to get better, but some of those are also like career path oriented things. And so when we were really digging through, if you want to be a corporate specialist, if you want to be a professional in place, if you want to be in field management, which a lot of guys showed up to that. So there's a lot, for me, that was the takeaway.
You know what I was shocked about? That we had this thought process of a session, and we didn't know really what to call it, and we called it space travel. And I was a little concerned that people wasn't going to know what that was. But I'm hearing reports that like we had a good solid group that were in that room, and they had some real fertile conversations.
Yeah, it's cool that we're not just thinking about today and finding the results that work for today, but we're also thinking about the ones that happen next year and 5 years from now. And 10 years from now.
And we're excited as we go into 2019. We're going to be sharing with you, man, we got some momentum in that area. that we're going to be sharing with you in 2019, where we are already not getting ready. We have already taken off in that area. So more to come on that. You know, one of the biggest highlights, I know for Dave Rice, one of his favorite moments of the whole thing, and I know there were a lot of people that really went soul searching, was the night on the beach when we did the dream casting.
Yeah, that was my favorite night.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, we started shaping this event, and Dave had a vision for what he wanted it to be, and we tried to create this atmosphere. But what ended up happening on that beach, I don't think any of us could have. We couldn't have dreamt. We dreamed of it, but sure. we couldn't have called what happened on that beach. There was real life stories happening on that beach, and people really pouring out their soul and sharing with each other. It was impactful for me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's the same for us. It's cool to think about some of these big goals, and sometimes they fit inside of what we're doing already.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not, and there's still room to dream those things here.
Yeah.
For me, it's a fun deal because a lot of my job is on the people development side.
Yeah.
And so even some of those conversations then automatically start leaning into, okay, now what do we do next?
Right.
How do I get better now? What steps do I need to take? And it is that time of year we're about to do IDP meetings with all of our directors.
Right.
So there's some times where we can start to formalize some of this process, but there is also lots of programs here that we just released applications last week, MINSA and LDP.
Where?
So if you haven't looked on New Home Connect yet, it's in the career path section on the left-hand side. Go to the career path and you can find both applications for both programs. And so even that, now that we've started dreaming, we're starting to formalize how to get to these goals, and now we have some of these tools to maybe help you get there.
You know, and talking to Dave Rice, and it also happened for me and a lot of the other VPs, that a lot of you, and we had a lot of discussions of people raising their hand saying, hey, I want to do more. I heard Dave Rice say that our vision now is to be the best new home sales company in the world. And you know what? I want to play my part. I want to do whatever I can. Please tell me and share with me how I can do that. And so with that, you just mentioned MINSA and LDP applications are out. And those are two big ways that you can contribute from right where you are. Right where you are. And we want to dive in and talk about that a little bit more on today's call, so that way you can have a full understanding and a full grasp of exactly what MINSA is and exactly what LDP is.
Both these programs, you are going to be giving more like that.
Right.
You're also going to be taking in a lot more
Yes.
and learning a lot more.
Yes.
So even as we talk through this today, we asked a peer learning question last week on New Home Connect, and we asked all of you guys, what questions do you have about the applications? What are you curious about in terms of getting into LDP or to MINSA? So hopefully we can answer a lot of those questions today, so you guys really know what you're getting into with these programs.
And the funny thing is I remember MINSA 1 class, and now we have our newest MINSA class that's coming up in January. And listen, our MINSA program and thank God, our LDP program has evolved from the very first time all the way to where it is now. Shout out to Matt Esray and Taylor Hollop, who were our LDP 1 class.
They stuck it out.
They stuck it out, and they're still with us. But they can tell you stories of what it was back in, and now to see where we are today, what our LDP class is really phenomenal. Speaking of LDP class, I am happy to have joining with us for this All-Star Sales Call, the, as of last night, official graduates of LDP 5. Five. Not LeBron, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. LDP 5 is going to help us and give you some firsthand perspective on really what it means to be in MINSA and LDP today. Not the 5 years ago New Home Star, but the MINSA and LDP of today. So thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, I'll get it your way.
Just get out the way. So I'm going to bring in Wendy Meredith and Michael Coppers to join me here. And Odu, are you going to sneak in here? And Odu Akapetti. So these great individuals have just dedicated 11 months into our most recent LDP curriculum and LDP program, and made some fantastic presentations as their final project yesterday. And we're just excited to see what they're going to do next in their career here at New Homestar. So, but they're going to help me, because rather than me, the funny thing is I have a different perspective because I've always taught Mensa, but to be fair, I never sat in the other seat. So for me to sit there and tell you, oh, Mensa's great, I might be kind of biased. So why don't we talk to some people who have actually been through it and have them kind of give you their perspective of it. So Wendy and Michael have both went through Mensa, and actually went through the career step that you see on New Home Connect. And so they went through it just exactly the way you see it. So tell me a little bit, like, what qualities should a Mensa, first, Mensa, for those of you that are watching, is mentoring and educating new sales associates. So a Mensa person, we feel, is somebody who is charged with being in charge of all the new trainees that are coming up. So that said, like, what qualities do you think a Mensa person should have?
Well, first off, Mensa is great.
Okay, see, glowing endorsement. You don't have to just take my word for it.
But I say that a Mensa person does need to be a leader.
Yeah.
They need to be interested in coaching and training other individuals to help the team grow. They actually should have already been mentoring some people.
Okay.
As they've been going through.
So if before somebody, you're saying to prepare, and maybe there's somebody who's saying, hey, I'm not ready for Mensa this round, but you're saying if you want to start preparing yourself for later, you need to raise your hand and say, hey, let me mentor some people so I can be ready for Mensa. And that's the biggest thing we need to point out. There is a difference between being a mentor and being a Mensa. Mm-hmm. And so you're suggesting, hey, be a mentor for a couple of times, and then that prepares you for Mensa.
Sure, and you can raise your hand and ask your director for that.
Yeah.
But you can also just do it naturally. If you're seeing someone struggling, just
yes.
jump in there, just do it, help
Yeah.
them out. But also something that is really important for a Mensa member to have is time management skills.
Okay.
Not only do you need to be able to manage your own schedule,
Yeah.
and now you're adding some things
Yeah.
to your schedule, but also you're going to need to be able to manage someone else's schedule.
Sure.
So a new trainee. So I
Yeah.
think that that's important.
Awesome. What's been your experience, Michael?
Yeah, so as far as what I got out of it, so what I got out of Mensa really was finding out kind of the why behind the what.
Okay.
So more in-depth knowledge on the processes, and more importantly, how are we taking that back to our local market, so that way we can help equip others on their growth path as well.
Okay. Yeah, and the funny thing is, both of you are saying, I've heard you say, go jump in there and help others. I just heard you say what you got out of it was to go out there and help others. And so between those two, I'm hearing like it's an outward thing. Like Mensa is pouring out and helping others and just having a heart to help somebody else be better.
Definitely.
And and that's the spirit of Mensa that you have to take in. And I'm just going to tell you, there's no financial benefit to Mensa. Okay? What we're talking about here is not because you're going to get quote unquote fiscally paid more. Okay? But this is just because you are raising your hand saying, New Homestar is building the best new home sales company in the world, and I want some significance in knowing that I made a contribution towards that. And Mensa gives you an opportunity in order to provide that avenue. And you guys have been a glowing example of what Mensa should be and what we aim for it to do. Now LDP stands for Leadership Development Program. And I just came back from a training and development conference myself. Constant and never-ending improvement right here at work. I just came back from a conference myself, and I was surprised on now how in many different industries, they also have some type of leadership development program, and it is like a big topic amongst HRs and leadership and development teams in many different companies across the nation. And so it kind of gave me a little bit of internal pride to know that, you know, even though in its first iteration, it wasn't perfect, but we continue to get better, that we have been on this road to make our program, especially our leadership development program, better as we went along. So Odu was able to join in into the leadership development program and get started right off the bat. To be fair, Aaron Wagner and I was at the career night when Odu showed up the first time and actually met Odu. And he and I looked at each other and said, wow, we don't know when, but that guy's going to be in LDP. And here you are as a graduate of LDP. You know, how awesome is that? You know, what are some of your takeaways from LDP? You know, just knowing from that one night where you met me and Aaron for the first time to where you stand here today.
Yeah. I'd say the biggest takeaway for me from LDP is that here at New Home Star, there's a lot of work to be done. And
I will second that emotion right now. There is a lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done, and there's no magical unicorn in the sky to get it done.
Yeah.
It's going to be us.
Right.
That's my biggest takeaway from LDP.
Yeah. And so think about, how do you, and any of you can answer, how do you manage to balance your time in because to be fair, LDP today, Aaron Wagner works you guys pretty hard. Like, there's a curriculum, like there's assignments, there's homework. You guys just had to do a project that you had to research. I mean, there was a lot of self-learning. Like, how did you balance your time in that whole deal?
Yeah, you know, LDP is definitely training for leadership roles within the company and just in the real world, in life in general. And a lot of these roles take excellent time management and pre-planning.
Yeah.
So now is the time to hone those skills to do that.
Right.
If you are planning out your days, your weeks, your months, your quarters, your years, you should be able to balance LDP. I know that Mike and Wendy can sort of touch on the time commitments that the programs entail.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're thinking about how much time does LDP take for you every week, we decided it was an average of 2 to 3 hours. And I'm not saying it's a 2 to 3 hour session per se in one fell swoop, but actually you commit to an hour's phone call, conference call that we've been on every Tuesday for the last 11 months.
Yeah.
And you know, there are some homework assignments. There's posting and brainstorming through the portal. We're reading books. We just finished a project that required some research. But the biggest takeaway from that is those hours really helped us gain the knowledge that we now are equipped with. So as we move into new roles, as we move into other opportunities within the company, we now have what we need to do that.
Yeah. And Wendy, as Gladys Knight and the Pips, you know, as being the graciousness of the group, how has this been for you, and what is your takeaway?
Gosh, my biggest takeaway, I would say, is I learned that we really do have a voice. We get brought into this program.
Yeah.
We get wonderful people like Keith and Aaron to listen to us, to really listen to us and teach us and coach us personally. And then at the end, like yesterday, we had this big project. You know, it's our final project for LDP.
Yeah.
We put a lot of time and energy into it. And then to have a group of people sitting there listening to everything we were saying about it and actually creating change by these presentations.
Yeah.
These guys just listened to us. It was really something.
Yeah. And are you tearing up right now? Oh my goodness gracious. Almost. Okay. I will tell you, it would be remiss of me if I didn't point to say, you should probably be saying to yourself, wow, there was only 3 LDP 5 members, and I'm going to tell you, yes, there's only 3, because we're waiting on you. Dave Rice told you at the Cancun sales rally, we are waiting on you. I'm telling you again, we are waiting on you. There continue to be more and more opportunities coming New Home Stars way. We are ready to take flight for sure. So hopefully this backdrop of Mensa and LDP kind of helps you understand a little bit more about those programs. So go on the portal and look at where those applications are. And like when you guys got ready to submit your application, what was that? What were you thinking? What were you feeling as you were filling out the application and you were getting ready to hit submit? Like, what were you thinking? What were you feeling?
I had Jamie Pugh in my office when I started filling mine out, and so there was that.
Okay. Oh, so Jamie was kind of like, you're doing this?
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
And gosh, I just wanted to make sure that I was going to be a really good leader to somebody else. I wanted to make sure that I had already had some experiences that would be beneficial to share with someone else. And so that was a big thought of mine.
Okay.
When I was filling everything out, it's really easy to fill it out. You go into the career path and you click the application button, and it's very simple. It's not a long application.
Okay. What were you boys thinking?
Well, when we were filling ours out, I remember I called some other people that had already been in the program. My director, Nick Czar, was in the program, and I called him and I said, hey bro, what's going on with this? How long does this take? Do you think I'm ready to do this? And if not, what do I need to do to prepare? So my suggestion is, if you're on the fence about it and you're thinking, you know, I have this skill set that I would like to apply to the organization, but you know maybe there's something you want to work through, call your resources, call your director, call a teammate, call the Mensa member that may be on your team, and just get a real good outside perspective as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for me. It was coming off of the first annual sales rally, and I left that sales rally doing a lot of soul searching. I feel that I would hope that almost all of us know how much New Home Star cares about us. Sometimes I fear not everyone may truly know that, so I'm here to say New Home Star cares, and I say that emotionally. And seeing the vision and seeing the potential for where we want to be and where we will be, I just filling out that application was my commitment to wanting to be a part of that and help us get there any way I can.
Yeah, and I'm going to even help everybody a little bit more, Mike. Rather than just reaching out, IDPs should be either have been, I know one VP has already done some. I know many directors are scheduling them right now. I don't care who you are in New Home Star, you should be getting with your manager and having an IDP. Even up here at the corporate office, the corporate services and support are getting IDP. So a perfect place for you to begin to talk about LDP and Mensa and where you want to go, fresh off of the new vision that Dave Rice has given us for us to go charge towards. In your IDP, make sure you have that conversation of what could Mensa LDP mean for me and where my dream is to be with New Home Star in the years to come. Yeah, isn't that right?
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, I'm gonna call my buddy Wagner on. You guys go eat some cake and celebrate or something. I don't know. So dude, you've been dialed into LDP. You've been a major catalyst on helping us push LDP to that next level. Probably one of the biggest questions we get about LDP is, because you and I personally heard people didn't apply for LDP because the spread of, well, I'm not relocatable. Like, well, we've been working on this tirelessly so that way we could understand. Where are we with that?
Yeah, so there is a perception that if you're not relocatable, that we don't care about you or we don't want you to get promoted, which is not true.
Not true.
We need more leaders constantly. You saw that there's 3 people up here in the LDP class. We actually started with 6, by the way, so it's not a super easy program.
No.
These guys make it look easy, but it's not.
It's not.
So we want people who are relocatable and not. So kind of the requirements, and we got this question a lot on the peer learning side when we asked a couple weeks ago.
For sure.
Either the option to get into leader LDP, it's a program to teach you to be a field sales director. Is the design of the program, meaning after the program, we want you to go into the field and be a director, which means either one, you're relocatable and you can do that in a new market, or two, you're able to move up and you have the sign off from your local leadership, including your builder partner, that you could be the future manager / director in your current market. So those are the two big things that we're looking at, because we want to develop leaders who are going to move into that role, so that can either be locally or nationally.
So to be fair,
Yeah.
let me give you the Keith McKinney short and sweet version of what you just said. If I don't want to relocate and I want to be a leader where I am, I better be the best I can be right where I am.
Yes.
And show everybody I'm a bad boy, right? Yeah, you have to do all the right things right where you are to show your builder, your VP, your director, and all the realtors in your town, all the lenders in your town. Like, everybody has to know, when I talk to Aaron Wagner, he's legit. Like, you have to become that person. If you don't want to relocate and you're like, hey, how do I make this happen right where I am? And listen, we understand. Listen, you heard Odu. We have the heart. We understand. Some of you have family things going on, whether you're taking care of your parents and you got different things that doesn't allow you to move. That's okay.
Absolutely.
We're trying to tell you there's a place for you to contribute, and we want that to happen.
Yes, we need it to happen.
Yes.
Because we have leaders. Now, to be fair, we are growing quickly and all over the country. So there is a spot where those spots nationally are probably going to pop up faster than locally.
Rapidly, as of this morning. That's all I'm going to say.
It's happening quick.
It's happening quick.
The other thing about locally, to kind of hit off what Keith
Yeah.
said, is you have a reputation in that market. You don't get to start over new someplace and your resume does your talking for you. You do have to have everybody's buying in that market. You have to be the guy who has good paperwork when you turn in contracts. You have to show up on time. You have to be a good leader.
Have good customer service. Shout out to the top avid customer service person in the nation.
Yeah, it's high.
It's way up there. And number one salesperson for Hayden Homes of this year, Miss Heather Lowry. So in terms of customer service, if you need help with customer service,
call Heather.
Go to New Home Connect, send her a message. If you need help with paperwork, go to New Home Connect and say, hey, who can help me be better at my paperwork?
Absolutely.
If you need help with managing backlog, go to New Home Connect, say, hey, who can help me be better at backlog? There's everybody out there waiting to help you so that you can contribute.
Yeah. So on top of the relocation piece, whether you can want to be promoted locally or nationally, other things that we look at, because we do look at that when we go through applications. The other things we look at are like your New Home Connect scores, and it's not just like the points you get. We pull very robust reports on New Home Connect uses to make sure it's well-rounded.
Yeah.
For us, on the LDP side, a predictor of who's going to be standing here at the end in graduation is almost New Home Connect tells us ahead of time. So the ability to balance that extra 2 or 3 hours a week that Copper's talked about, you have to do that now as a salesperson through New Home Connect. So if you can't do it on New Home Connect, that's a lot of times for people that don't get accepted into LDP. It's using New Home Connect numbers because it's a precursor to success later.
And I just got to say, on New Home Connect, you guys got to remember, New Home Connect is so vast and so wide on all the things you can do.
To be more based off of some of the
presentations yesterday.
We're going to add some more field practice within that, but within each class, there's at least one out-of-market visit. Sometimes that's here at the corporate office, sometimes that's in new markets that you haven't seen. And then there's also, like these guys said, there's books to read, there's homework assignments weekly, there's final projects, kind of like the presentations they gave yesterday, and you do get graded on it. So it is something that
graded.
You theoretically can fail out of.
Yeah.
We only have 3 out of 6 left.
Yeah.
Of this class. I don't know if I said that already.
Yeah, you kind of did.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of being a little facetious. He's done a great job of putting that curriculum and instruction together, and so we're proud to have Aaron Wagner and the job he's doing with LDP. Thank you for your work, sir. And so there you have it, man. We just wanted to make sure we gave you a Cancun recap and make sure you understand that building from that, where we just poured out our soul and dreamt together and we looked into the future together. Listen, New Home Star's future is so bright. I can't even tell you how bright our future is. Like, and there's no end in sight. And I don't know about your eyes, but all I see is green lights. Okay, there goes rock stars. We will see you next month, and please, please, please go kill it for the rest of November, and we'll see you in December. Woo!